Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Got something really exciting here for you Power Ranger fans. Just released recently, got it from Big Bad Toy Store, the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin King Sphinx. And this one, when they announced it, I was like, oh boy, I gotta get this guy. I gotta have him next to my Goldar. I just gotta get him. I love King Sphinx, such a crazy cool design back in the days growing up, and to this day, King Sphinx is still one of my favorite villains from Rita's arsenal. So let's get into the intro.
What do you think?
So a couple of things before the video starts. If you are subscribed, don't forget to hit the little bell icon so that you're up to date with any future uploads. Now with the intro out of the way, let's just take a quick look at the packaging because, man, like I said before, and I always say this, but I love the Lightning Collection packaging. It's so simple yet effective. I love the artwork they do here on the front of the package, and being that King Sphinx is a big boy, this is probably one of the bigger boxes from the line, at least when it comes to individual releases. So yeah, just take a look. You got a nice window packaging of King Sphinx in there. Take a look at the side here, more of that beautiful artwork. On the back, you get a nice promotional shot of King Sphinx. The figure looks a lot better than the final product. And on the other side, you really don't get much there, just a continuation of the artwork. Alright, so now that we got a good look at the box, let's get King Sphinx out of his packaging. I'm gonna open it from this side. Oh, my nails! Ow! Those of you who are interested, why did I open them upside down? Who cares? Look at the background, looks good. Put the box aside. There it is. Oh, drunk putties, drunk putties. All right, here's King Sphinx in his plastic container. Off camera, of course. Oh Jesus. All right, here we have King Sphinx. Now, aside from the obvious differences between the prototype and the final product, there's a lot of good things about this figure, but there's some not so good things about it. So I want to get into that, of course. First off, let's take a look at the paint details and sculpt on King Sphinx, and that's where a lot of people are going to probably find the issues that I have with this figure. In particular, taking a look at the face. Now, King Sphinx, his headdress looks absolutely wonderful. It's done with more of a goldenrod yellow and a nice light blue. On the shoulder pads, you're going to notice a lot of little details. Very Egyptian-esque, looks good. And the lower shoulder pad, there's two of them of course, is a light blue. Little details on the sculpt there. Everything looks great. But like I said, the head, of course, the face could have used a little more paint in certain areas and would have gone a long way. The nose, no excuse for that. The nose should have been painted black. And that's something I'm actually going to take a acrylic paint to and do it myself because it completes the look, and the fact that it's unpainted here is, yeah, I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense to me why it's not painted, but whatever. Alright, just want to interrupt myself here. This is Future Self with a update on the paint application for the nose. I actually did this myself. Very fine paintbrush and some apple barrel pavement paint. It doesn't look the best, of course. I'm not the greatest when it comes to this, and I'm very shaky, but already this looks better than what we get out of the package. Alas, I gotta review the figure that we get, not the figure that I just customized. Very little, of course. So let's get back to the actual figure itself. The inner mouth as well is kind of just still that same gray plastic that they used. Yes, there is some shading on the face and on the rest of the body, except for the chest. So it does help bring out some of the details, and the shading goes a long way. However, painting the inner mouth black and the nose black would have made this figure over the top. But anyways, besides that, there are some QC issues that I'm noticing on mine. As you can see here on his chin, his goatee, he has some blue paint there that's kind of bled off and just wound up there for some reason. Also, I got some red paint underneath here on his left shoulder. The chest itself looks good. I do like the red here on these little Egyptian inscriptions on his pecs, and he has that one eye towards the middle of his abdominal area, and he's got really nice defined muscles. However, I do feel like on the chest and upper body could use some more shading. I don't really see that much shading being used here, maybe underneath the pecs, but yeah, a little shading would have went a long way. Even a black wash would have been great, but not bad. On the back here, a little minor paint issue there. The hard plastic looks good. I also noticed there are some spots on the body where they used kind of like a green, very faint green paint in certain spots, like around the forearms and on the legs. Here, very nicely defined muscles, by the way, and that is show accurate. I just looked at a picture of the suit, and I gotta say, they did a good job putting that little green paint in the areas where it probably should be. So props to Hasbro for actually going the extra mile, even though in certain areas they probably could have gone a little extra. Loincloth down here looks good as well. Once again, it's done up with that goldenrod yellow, and the little sash here with the Egyptian symbols looks pretty darn good too. Nice inky blacks and reds. And his tail, you can see the little fur on the bottom is painted, so that's always nice. Why couldn't they use that for his nose? I don't know. Knee pads look good as well. Now, I don't know if his claws were painted in the show. I don't remember exactly. But overall, in terms of looks, he looks pretty good enough. Now, I want to take a quick look at the wings by themselves. You can see here there's lots of little shading done on the feathers of his wings. So you got some light grays and some dark grays, which really help bring out a lot of that sculpted detail. And there is a lot of sculpted detail in there when you look at it. It looks pretty damn good. I actually like how they did the wings here. So you can see, and they look good. And they plug into his back with this little peg. So we're gonna do that real quickly. Line up those pegs with those holes and get them in there. Alright, now we have him with his wings to complete the look. Now let's get into the articulation. Now in terms of articulation, I'm very impressed with what they did here. There's no parts in this figure that feel weak or loose. Thank God, I'm not gonna take a hint. And alright, first, the wings. Let's just take a quick look at the wings. You can rotate them around, but do be careful. If they're not pushing all the way, they're gonna come right out. So the wings can move back, they can rotate, and they can move flap forward. Right on. Let's take a look at the head here. The head does rotate left and right, you know. The sculpt does allow some leeway because it's made of that soft rubbery plastic. So you can get him to rotate around. You can kind of tilt his head a little bit side to side. You can get him to move his head back, but not that much because of the back. It's going to interfere with the sculpt, and you can get him to look down a little bit. Arms, the shoulder pads do get in the way a bit. They are connected to the arms and they're soft rubbery plastic, so that does kind of get in the way, but not too much. There is bicep swivel. You can rotate the arm get that wing out of the way, full 360. There is a double bend at the elbow, of course, and a swivel hinge combo for the wrists. Abdominal area. Might look a little stiff, but on camera, but you can get him to bend forward a good amount, and you can get him to lean back a good amount as well. So that's always good. And there is some swivel there at the upper waist. Moving down to the legs, and I have a little bit of an issue here with the legs. You're gonna see, but it's not too bad actually. You can kick forward a good amount. You can kick back a decent amount as well before you start interfering with the butt sculpt. You can split his legs apart. Alright. There does seem to be a joint here to rotate at the upper thigh, but it's really frightening how stiff that is. Maybe I gotta use some hot water for it. Maybe it wasn't intended for, but I do feel like I'm gonna stress the joint too much on the leg and break it, so I don't want to mess with that too much. There is a double bend at the knee. His tail is on the ball joint, so you can actually move it around because you get a swivel here right underneath the shin, and you can kick back that much with that foot, move forward a little bit, and it's forward facing pegs, so you can actually rotate it a good amount and get some good ankle articulation out of this guy. Now let's move on to the accessories. Out of the box, he comes with these open curled fingered hands. He also comes with a clenched left fist and a right hand specifically made to hold his staff. Staff has a lot of little markings on it. It's done up with a darker blue, while the end of it is done up with that same goldenrod paint that they used with the rest of the figure. I think the staff would have looked a lot better if they used a metallic blue paint. And he comes with this really nice fiery orange effect piece that's great to wrap around his staff. Now, usually when they come with these effect pieces, the Lightning Collections, they're really soft, rubbery, but this one has a little more, it's definitely a tougher plastic that they use. Yes, it's still malleable, however, this is the kind of plastic that if it gets warped, it might stay like that for a little while until you use some hot water trick. Yeah, so this one's definitely sturdier than some of the other effect pieces that they have, but looks pretty good, especially when used with the staff. Now, King Sphinx is a big guy, one of the deluxe figures, and I want to put him some size comparisons here with maybe a Lightning Collection putty. You can see the putty is nearly shoulder length because the putty's kind of in a pose right now. But let's put him next to Goldar, because Goldar was around neck and neck, I believe, with this guy. And as you can see, man, he makes Goldar look small. I don't remember King Sphinx being that big, but I don't mind it actually because it's a nice deluxe figure. Let's see him with a Power Ranger. Here we have Mighty Morphin Green Ranger, Tommy. Just reviewed this one recently. Alright, that one looks pretty good. And let's put him next to Jason, of course, one of my favorites in the line. Yeah, King Sphinx towers over them, but I like this size comparison. He's a big dude. So King Sphinx is an impressive figure in terms of scale and engineering. He's not perfect though. The lack of certain paint apps on the face is definitely a bummer, and the areas such as the loincloth, armor, as well as certain sections of his body do look a bit too clean, if you ask me. He really could have benefited from a black wash, so I'm definitely interested in seeing how customizers tackle this guy. However, this is around the $30 figure, so I have to give Hasbro some props for even tackling this badass monster. Hopefully, we see other iconic villains in this scale, and fans of Mighty Morphin really have to get this guy sooner rather than later. So anyways, that's my quick review on King Sphinx. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe hit the like button, share the video with some of your friends, and subscribe today. Collect everything, connect everything, End Card is here with other videos you might enjoy, so why don't you check those out when you get the chance. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for watching once again and your support, and I'll see you all soon. Take care.